Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre.
Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show. This time we're checking out a new electric race car from Porsche, the Cayman Gt3 ePerformance.
We also have Alfa Romeo's new Evoque rival and the new BMW X5.
Plus, a hybrid SUV from Renault and Cadillac's first ever EV.
That's all still to come. Up first, the news. Bentley has announced that its famous W12 engine will go out of production in April 2024, with order books closing for 12-cylinder models this December. The 6-litre twin-turbocharged motor has been powering Bentleys for 20 years now, having made its debut in the 2003 Continental GT. Since then, it's garnered a reputation for being among the smoothest and most powerful engines on the market. By the time the final engine is assembled in April next year, more than 100,000 W12s will have been produced. The current V8 and V6 hybrid models will remain in production, while the upcoming Continental GT update will bring with it the option of hybrid power in that model for the first time. As the marque prepares for an electric future, it plans to send the W12 off in style with the Batteur. Its W12 will produce 739 brake horsepower, making it the most powerful Bentley ever made. Only 18 will be built, and all are already spoken for.
When Alfa Romeo finally revealed the third car in its lineup last year, it seemed the historic Italian brand was finally catching up with the big manufacturers from Germany. With its new Tonnelet, is Alfa Romeo primed to take on BMW and Mercedes in the hotly contested small SUV class? Well, it certainly looks the part, but it will need to do more than just look good though, with Alfa's existing cars, the Giulia and the aforementioned Stelvio, setting an impressively high bar for the new Audi Q3 rival to meet. As with other current Alfas, it looks great, with the distinctive grille, aggressive inset headlights and a side profile not dissimilar from the Stelvios. It looks like an Alfa should then. And the good news continues inside. A 12.3-inch digital instrument panel is housed in a classically styled binnacle, while the rest of the cabin is trimmed with leather, Alcantara and expensive-looking brushed aluminium. There are lots of buttons which may look out of place these days, but we tend to prefer physical controls rather than having to fumble through menus on an infotainment screen. Under the attractive bodywork, the Tonnelet shares its platform with some small Jeeps, but don't let that put you off. Alfa has made plenty of chassis changes to ensure the Tonnelet is well suited for keen drivers. Under the bonnet, there's a range of petrol or diesel engines, with an EV version possibly joining the range in the future. For now, the top-spec all-wheel drive cars get a 1.3-litre turbocharged four-pot hooked up to a plug-in hybrid system. The combined output is a healthy 271 bhp, good for 0 to 62 in just over 6 seconds, with an electric range of 37 miles. Prices start at £38,500 for the limited run Speciale model, available to the first buyers. It comes with all the kit from the more expensive Veloce model and also gains some bespoke badges and big wheels.
But as we know, this is a very crowded sector of the market, and the Tonale will have some stiff competition like this, the Range Rover Evoque. The second generation Evoque might not look massively different from the original, but it's modern and eye-catching, and it comes with that desirable Range Rover name. And the interior is every bit as upmarket as you'd expect. Climb inside and you're greeted by some of the finest materials this side of a Rolls-Royce. The design is as smooth and elegant as the exterior, while 3 infotainment screens mean the tech is up to scratch against rival systems. However, no Range Rover is deserving of its badge if it can't handle itself when the going gets tough. Thankfully, the Evoque more than holds its own here, with Land Rover's clever off-road tech keeping everything in check. Approach angles have been improved too, but if you do plan on getting muddy, be warned that the entry-level model is 2-wheel drive. Evoque prices start at £34,000 or £38,000 for a 4x4 model.
The Alfa Romeo then may look good, but it will need to be brilliant to beat the Evoque. However, with supply chain issues continuing to affect Land Rover's production, an Alfa could be a lot easier to get your hands on.
Since its inception in 1999, the BMW X5 has become one of the most revered luxury SUVs. The current range consists of everything from hybrids to performance models, but it is beginning to feel its age. BMW clearly thought the same thing, so they've shown us this, the new 2023 X5. A thorough update rather than a whole new model, the new X5 has had some nip and tuck to keep it looking fresh. At the front you find a new set of slimmer headlights, a new pair of kidney grills and a restyled bumper. The rear end has also been treated to some new lights, but that's about it. The interior has had a few minor tweaks, mainly focused around the infotainment, but it's under the bonnet where the big changes have been made to both the X5 and its sister car, the swoopier, coupe-shaped X6. Every model still comes with an 8-speed auto box, but 48-volt mild hybrid tech is included across the range. The entry point in the range is a 3-litre diesel with 294 brake horsepower, with numerous more powerful petrol models. A more powerful diesel will join the range later in the year. Whether or not these changes are enough to win over buyers from the deeply impressive new Range Rover Sport, as well as countless other rivals, is unknown. But with a welcome raft of updates, the new BMW X5 looks as good as ever.
Cadillac has revealed its first electric car. Rivaling premium EV SUVs like the BMW iX and Jaguar I-Pace, the new Lyriq, and that's Lyriq with a Q, promises to be the luxury brand's quietest car yet. And first off, we must say, it looks fantastic. A modern twist on Cadillac's existing design language with a stylish, illuminated grille panel, the only real giveaway to the electric powertrain. The Lyriq is the first car to use General Motors' new, scalable battery architecture, which will eventually be used on a whole range of new EVs from Cadillac and Chevrolet. Unlike many manufacturers though, Cadillac hasn't gone chasing straight-line speed with its debut EV. Instead, the Lyriq is built to be as refined and as quiet as possible, enhancing the luxury experience while maintaining adequate performance thanks to a 340 horsepower electric motor on the rear axle. It's still no slouch, managing 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, but for speed freaks, there is an all-wheel drive version with 500 horsepower. With the new Lyriq, GM is launching its new line of Ultium batteries. Scalable to fit different platforms, they'll range from 50 to 200 kilowatt hours, with the biggest reserved for the gigantic Hummer EV. The Lyriq's battery is 102 kilowatt hours, with a range of up to 312 miles on the money in this segment. Inside the cabin, the Lyriq lacks some of the sense of occasion one finds in a BMW iX, but it will be familiar and easy to use for any existing Cadillac owners. It's all high quality though, with some tasteful bright work set amongst classy, open-pore wood trim. There are flashes of blue too, both in the lighting and the leather, while a big curved infotainment screen joins up to the digital instrument cluster.
But how does it stack up against its rivals? Well, starting with BMW's iX, it's looking good for the Caddy. BMW has received plenty of criticism for its styling recently, and the iX is certainly an acquired taste, to say the least. The cabin goes some way to making up for the exterior, with some beautiful design touches and top-notch materials, making it feel like a truly special car once you're on the move. A 100 kilowatt-hour battery sits under the floor, sending power to 2 electric motors, one for each axle. It gets an impressive 376-mile range, and the battery can be charged at a rate of 200 kilowatt-hours, meaning you'll be able to reach an 80% charge in under 40 minutes. To go with the iX's futuristic looks, it's packed full of some pretty futuristic technology. BMW says it has 20 times more computing power than anything else they've built, capable of processing all of the necessary data for autonomous driving. There is also a sportier M60 version with 611 bhp, capable of 0 to 62 in 3.9 seconds.
However, one area where the Cadillac wins hands down is the price. While it's aimed to compete against the best from Europe, the Lyriq comes in at around $10,000 less than a Jaguar I-Pace or Audi e-tron, and more than $20,000 less than a BMW iX. Sadly, we're unlikely to see the Lyriq here in Europe, and that's a real shame. For American buyers though, the new Caddy is well worth considering.
After the break, Porsche's new electric racer. Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre. Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre. Coming up, an all-electric race car from Porsche, but first... The old Renault Kadjar never quite made it in the cutthroat family SUV market. As a result, Renault is starting from scratch with this, the all-new Austral. Competing against the likes of the Kia Sportage and Nissan Qashqai, the new Austral needs to stand out if it wants to win over buyers in this class. On the styling front, it is far from revolutionary. The front end is reminiscent of the new Megane E-Tech, using Renault's new sensual tech design language. But cover up the badges and it could be just about any other small SUV. At the back, it gets some stylish rear lights that stretch out around the middle, with a de rigueur Austral script reminding you that things have moved on since the Kadjar. Its dimensions are near enough identical to the old car, but it is a completely new look, albeit one that is unlikely to get your heart racing. Step inside though, and it's altogether more exciting. There are lashings of wood trim, Alcantara and Napa leather in the sporty Alpine trim level, giving the whole cabin a tasteful, premium vibe. The Austral uses an updated version of the Kadjar's platform, but this time it gets a whole lineup of electrified powertrains. From launch, there isn't a plug-in option, but regular series hybrids are available with either 158 or 197 brake horsepower. The engine is a turbocharged 1.2 3-cylinder hooked up to a small 1.7 kilowatt-hour battery. Now, Renault reckons that up to 80% of city driving can be done on electric-only power, and that, depending on spec, the Austral will achieve up to 61 miles per gallon. Accompanying the two full hybrids is a pair of mild hybrids, both using bigger 1.3-litre 4-cylinder motors, producing 138 and 158 bhp respectively.
However, as we know, there are plenty of small hybrid SUVs to choose from. One such car is this, the Honda CR-V. The CR-V hybrid matches a 2-litre petrol engine with an electric motor, and is available in both 2- and 4-wheel drive. The hybrid system is good, cutting in and out of EV mode seamlessly. While the CR-V isn't as new or as fresh as the Renault, it's still among our class favourites thanks to its practicality. The Honda can now be specified with 5 or 7 seats. While the rearmost row of seats is a bit cramped for anyone but young children, the extra seats do give the CR-V an advantage over cars like the Austral. Like the Renault, its styling doesn't leave much to shout about, but inside it's well equipped and beautifully made.
If you are after something a bit more eye-catching though, the new Hyundai Tucson has you covered. A bold departure from the old model, it certainly turns heads, something rare in this segment of the market. And it isn't just the exterior that's been transformed. It's a similar story inside, where a smart, contemporary dash greets you with stylish vents and a quirky steering wheel. All models come as standard with a smart 10.25-inch infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's got built-in sat-nav too, and the graphics are clear and sharp. There's a range of petrol and hybrid powertrains to choose from, with a 261 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid model sitting at the top of the lineup.
The Austral then, like the Kadjar before it, has got some serious competition. With established models like the CR-V and the increasing popularity of Korean cars like the Tucson, it'll be interesting to see if the likeable Renault can carve itself a lasting place in the family SUV market.
The Porsche Cayman is one of the very best sports cars you can buy right now. In all its guises, its poise and balance are derived from its mid-mounted engine. But what if you took away that engine and replaced it with batteries? Well, you get this. The Porsche Cayman Gt3 ePerformance. An EV for the track, the ePerformance showcases what can be achieved in the future of electric motorsport, as well as acting as a development test car for a future road-going electric Porsche. Very much a purebred race car, the electric Cayman is built on the existing GT4 Club Sport chassis. This one though is much quieter. Porsche reckons this could be the basis for its next one-make race series, although the real race cars will be pegged back a bit in terms of performance. You see, this test car sends an incredible 1,073 brake horsepower to all four wheels, enough to see it round most tracks faster than the current 911 Cup cars. The race cars though will need to cover greater distances, so power will be pegged back to around 600. Still plenty, although this isn't exactly a featherweight racer at 1,500 kilos. Porsche has thousands of motorsport customers, all of whom will be wondering about the switch to EV, so it's no surprise to see Porsche getting in early on electric racing. It features various aero components from existing Porsche racers, and it can be charged from 0 to 80% in quarter of an hour. The bodywork is all carbon fibre, naturally, while the interior is pure race car, with little thought given to creature comforts. Quite when we'll see a grid full of electric Caymans driving in anger remains to be seen, but when Porsche sets its mind to something, it almost always comes through.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as we take a look at one of the most important new EVs of the year, the new Nissan Ariya.
Auto Mundial is sponsored by Trade Centre.